maybe I'm just reading the wrong stuff, but I feel like nobody criticizes what the Celtics do enough. And when I look at what they did to get Porzingis, I see it this way. They weren't looking to give up Marcus Smart at first. The deal was Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon was being traded. And I think Brogdon was going to the Clippers in a 3-team trade.
Okay.
Maybe. And the Clippers were like, no, you know what? He doesn't have a clean bill of health. We don't like this. We don't like this report on his health. He's not physically capable. We don't actually want Malcolm Brogdon. This deal's done. And the Celtics found themselves, in a situation where they were going to get their guy, and now they're not getting their guy. And then they had to give up even more to get their guy.
Yeah.
But that showed me when they ended up giving up Marcus Smart after the Malcolm Brogdon deal went through, this wasn't about who they were giving up. It was about their obsession with getting the guy they wanted. It's very clear that Brad Stevens is obsessed with Kristaps Porzingis if he is willing to give up arguably the heart and soul of the organization. You talk about, we're mentioning Jaylen Brown with off-the-court stuff to help the community.
Same guy.
Marcus Smart, same thing.
Yep.
He's a guy that puts his money where his mouth is off the court in the community, and it's a great thing. Well, they don't have any problem dishing that guy off to get the guy that Brad Stevens is obviously obsessed with. And I know Kristaps Porzingis had a career year points per game last season, but this guy is like
it's not
the European Band-Aid. Like, it's mind-blowing to me that you would trade Marcus Smart to get Kristaps Porzingis, who's a quick left turn away from probably never playing again. The knee issues, the leg issues that this guy has had. Now, there was a point in time when he was about to get drafted. I remember thinking, I want the Celtics. What draft was that? I was on WEEI the night of that draft, while that draft was going on. I want to say that was the year that we took Terry Rozier.
Oh, yeah. I think it
with
was.
Like 18 overall, 19 overall.
It was, yeah.
And I remember sitting there going, because was that the Jahlil Okafor year too?
I think so.
76ers took Okafor. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm making. I know I was on WEEI live doing a show during multiple drafts.
But the point is, a lot of things have happened since then.
But the night of the Porzingis draft, I remember going, trade up to get Porzingis. Trade up to get him. Maybe it's not the. You think that sounds right? The Rozier.
I think it's Rozier.
Terry Rozier draft. Who I wish was still with the Celtics too. By the way, I wish they never got rid of him. I liked Rozier. And they could use a point guard right now because I don't know
who's yeah.
It seems like now they have to mend the fences with Brogdon too. I read something and the tone was kind of like, I
think that's quick to get over though.
I don't know.
Not for every guy though. I don't know the man. So
it depends. I mean, if you're and I say this because I have this attitude too, as somebody that is just constantly grinding and maybe feeling slighted at times when it comes to opportunities not coming my way, where I have built up this fuck you attitude in the business world, where it's like, oh, you don't want me? All right. That's the worst business decision that you'll ever make. See ya. You're in my way.
Yeah.
And that's me. Dude, I'm a fucking nobody, and I feel that way. Imagine what an ego-driven professional athlete feels like, who's a sixth man, wants to be a starter, but he's sixth man of the year coming off the bench with multiple teams. Now they're trying to move him. Then that team he was getting moved to didn't want him. It's like, well, who fucking wants me? Oh, you guys don't want me?
It can go a lot of ways, right?
So I think that is going to be, that's a fence you got to mend. I don't know that that's an easy thing to do. But again, back to the Porzingis. Just
he has to have a perfect season for this to work. That's the problem. And do you buy he's gonna have a perfect season? And it scares me. I don't know if I don't trust Brad Stevens enough or something, but I don't trust him to get the right guys here. I just don't. Like all his extras that he brings in, they only kind of work. They don't. I don't. And you have such a small.
Well, now money's tight too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So now you have such a smaller window of. Like, you just can't fuck around. You can't have dead money. You can't have any dead money on these books now. Like, you can't have Porzingis gone for weeks at a time.
I just don't understand it because, and
Horford's breaking down. Like they're not.
Look, we talked about on the last show, maybe a little over a month ago, about Smart and how in the playoffs this year, I was telling you, you know what? I'm almost done with him. But I say that in the moment where I'm frustrated with some of the things that are going on when I'm watching that Miami series. And, I'm not able to pull myself out and think logically. And even I get so caught up in the moment that even at points in time, I forget that last summer, they were 2 wins away from an NBA championship?
Yep.
And so they were a couple wins away from an NBA championship with Marcus Smart. So let's not act like, you needed to definitely bring somebody in.
But he wasn't the problem.
Marcus. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't the problem. But I just don't know that you can rely on Porzingis' health because he had one season last year that was a bounce back. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I didn't even know he was doing that last year.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't.
I had to look it up because I thought he was just
a guy that was always hurt.
Injured. Yeah.
And so maybe I'm wrong with that, but I don't think I am.
Well, the problem with Marcus Smart last year wasn't Marcus Smart. He was doing too much. And I know that's part of his nature, and you have to pull that back. But he wasn't doing too much. He was doing too much because no one else was doing enough. Like Marcus Smart was jacking up threes because no one else was they were giving him the ball and not it's Marcus Smart when he's Marcus Smart, when he's playing good defense, occasionally throwing up a three. He's a perfect player. And a player, I think that's the kind of guy you look at, like, that's why we won a championship. That guy, that's the guy who gets us over.
Yeah, I don't like the move.
I don't like it at all.
I don't like the move. I mean, I think if you were bringing somebody in that, to me, there's too many health questions with Porzingis that he's had in the past that I'm like, are you overreacting to one season that he just had with the fucking Washington Bullets or whatever, the Wizards or whatever, right? He was with Washington. Are we just overreacting to this? But again, if you're willing to, the Brogdon deal didn't go through, well, you still got to get your guy, and you're willing to then go above and beyond to get your guy by trading Marcus Smart to Memphis to get Kristaps Porzingis. You're telling me you're obsessed with Kristaps Porzingis, and I'm sitting back going, why?
Exactly.
Why? I just have this feeling like Marcus Smart is now going to take the Memphis Grizzlies to the Western Conference Finals next year, and the Celtics are going to have an injured Porzingis, and they're going to be out in the first or second round. And you're going to be sitting there wishing you had Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Because Brogdon doesn't want to play for you anymore.
He might not.
So
and you lit a fire under Marcus Smart. That's not a guy he's a guy who takes slight and builds on it.
And I also feel like if there's and I meant to say this, but I didn't, as I was talking about Brogdon feeling slighted with the trade that fell through. If there was one guy on the team that was going to pull Brogdon aside and be like, hey, cut the shit. We got your back. You're part of this team. It would be Marcus Smart.